Friends, good afternoon to all. Today is the 3rd of August, Thursday 13:56. Well, it's time for market analysis. Let's go. In this case, today we will consider the charts of the S&P index of the 500-day timeframe. From below, we will have similar charts only from other assets, which are like derivative additions that I use in my trading. Let's start in order. There will be a percentage index or a percentage of rising stocks. This indicator helps me to determine the moments of reversal due to the fact that it likes to turn around very smoothly. And what I already said a few days ago, this indicator also shows that a possible reversal. And yesterday, the stock market drop was very well displayed here. If, for example, you compare the most with 500, that is, yesterday's fall with the fall that was here, it seems like that fall was more interesting than this. But let's get back here. It was only now that this moment of reversal appeared. A very smooth indicator that suggests reversals, reversal cycles. Let them be deep, shallow, but they will nevertheless be shown. It is very good to show that there will be a decline now. Well, also not records, well, that is, the new historical maximum on stocks from the level in the area of 90-something% decreased to 66, that is, the markets began to fall seriously. Well, in principle, this is enough to already analyze. The only thing I want to take away is an addition. This is how the price range here is already starting to rise again, you will pay attention to it. Yes, that is, there is still demand, and here, of course, it will be interesting when the price will go per unit. Was it higher than one before? Yes, there were such moments, but now I would like to consider just such a key event in terms of the fact that this indicator, of course, is compared with the VIX itself. Well, let's go. As a matter of fact, let's see VIX on VIX. I want to note right away, the upper left corner is the VIX indicator itself or the volatility index of the option for C500, and there is already a very strong price increase for it. And moreover, this is not futures, this is the estimated price, which is, as they say, indicative, yes, and it will certainly suggest that serious problems are arising in the market. I want to draw your attention, if you see this candle here, which was here and here to compare, and compare with the index of the S&P 500, then you will see that the index of the S&P 500 should have seemed that here specifically the moment of the reversal began, yes, but we could see the confirmation of the reversal only when, just here. Well, we can also see on the volatility of the VIX itself that it is starting to grow, and also this is one of my derivative indicators, that is, the VIX is divided into its own volatility is also starting to grow, which suggests that this is a good situation for, so to speak, buying the VKS itself, and of course in order to sell indexes. Well, no matter how far away, let's look from the point of view of technical analysis. Consider this graph. I'll probably expand it completely, which was visible. From above, our stock purchase sales are not exactly on the index itself with PIP, it is generally all over the stock market. We see that sales have been going on for 2 days. And look, I want to note how, on the day when there was a serious reversal, we saw this decline, and after it again attempts to buy more shares. That is, at the moment when we had it on the 27th of July, the market fell heavily, they began to actively sell on the market. But literally the next day, everything started to be bought again. Well, now we understand that those who bought here, in fact, are losing their money, and of course, the market continues to decline. The stock market indicator clearly shows everything in the ratios, their prevalence of transactions, that is, these are the so-called priorities and ratio, they, in fact, show, because the stock market will continue to decline further. Moreover, one of the rules of trading in my trading system is the approach to the third level, which suggests that if the price sticks there, then in fact a very good downward movement is formed, respectively, you need to use it. Therefore, it is possible to sell the index of the evaluation of 500, and you can also sell other basic indexes, because they will all behave the same, plus or minus. If you are trading on a sign, it would also be nice right now. Therefore, in order not to go far, let's go straight to the parallel. Let's go to my website, go to the main page, open the forecast, and if you don't understand, for example, what language this is all happening in, you have the opportunity here to choose the translation of the language in which it will be convenient for you. That is, what language you speak. I think you will find a large list of languages that are here, and translate the site into the language that you are familiar with. I personally speak Russian, Ukrainian and a little English, so here you can choose the appropriate translation for yourself. So, the main directions, as they say, are with us. Let's voice it now. If the current price is higher than the priority level, it is purchases, if lower, it is sales. Schematically drawn, the price chart is black, the blue line is just a change of priority, purchases are above it, sales are below it. And I want to emphasize once again, this is an analysis based on the options market and is not some kind of super strategy. They just show you which way it would be more profitable and correct for you to trade at the moment. Well, you can also review the video under the table. There are videos in English, in Russian and, accordingly, use them to get acquainted in more detail. But now, as a matter of fact, let's go and sort of do a little review right away. Some of our stocks have already started to show down. This is what cannot please, because I still expect a downward movement. Well, let's go in order and see what we have with VIX. According to VIX, as I said, there is a strong breakthrough, but so far there is no consolidation for level 17. This is a calculated X, I emphasize once again, if you use futures, and it may be $2 more expensive there now, so it's not futures, it's, I emphasize once again, a mathematical formula based on an indicative one, which they look at and rely on. Pony, there is such a thing as levels, yes, which show a change of priority. So far, we have been in a downward trend, and while we have not gained a foothold over them and have not started to grow, there is no upward trend in VIX yet. Can I buy it? In fact, yes, in reality it is possible, but you can get stuck for a long time, like, for example, if it's June, July, August. June, yes, July was in the sidewall for 2 months. Before that, it was in the sidewall from April to June, then even lower. That is, the market is really overheated, very stock, and, accordingly, they are all decreasing. If you look at the history there, we haven't seen such a low VIX for a very, very long time. But accordingly, when he falls very low, he has only one road, as they say, up. Well, accordingly, this is what we expect. But the expectation of the VIX, the growth of the VIX will cause the stock markets to fall, respectively, from 500, or in this case, the futures for the SN of 500 should overcome its blue line and gain a foothold behind it, and begin to decline. Although it seems to be quite far away. But just by the way, there is a closer level here, respectively, I would consider it as a certain level, yes, beyond which there will be a reversal of the trend and, accordingly, the consolidation and reduction of the blue line. Maybe it was the maximum. Yes, it is quite possible that there was a maximum here, but we are now looking for confirmation of priorities. That is, if you, as it were, take the fundamental analysis that I'm talking about, yes, impose it together with these levels, then you will have a clear understanding of when to enter. That is, it was possible to buy speculatively here, but again not a long-term trend, because there was nothing bad in the market yet. That is, what will happen, it will actually be very serious, and you, as they say, will soon see it for yourself. Although I have already talked about this in principle, probably for a year and a half, I have even started since November of the 21st year, it says that serious problems are brewing in the market. So far, the markets have been pulling up, yes, and that's basically the desire of many investors to buy. In fact, even here it was visible, yes, that's how we see that despite the fact that our market just after asking, tried to pay off all the time in very large ratios. That is, everyone bought out the entire drawdown in order to go bigger. But if, as they say, to face the truth, look at those reports from her, here they are. Our non-profit participants are still in short positions. These are the ones that, so to speak, work according to the trend. They are in short positions, and commercial participants, who have their own positions, are just in long positions. That is, it says here that, in principle, well, where the market went, and there it will go. Their whole situation on sale changed back here in June of the 22nd year. And despite all this growth in the index, the participants still remain in sales, because they fundamentally understand that the market is still waiting for the beginning to decline. And what you have just seen, in fact, there was no decline. Therefore, you can use the moment. So, the next asset we will have in this case is copper, VD oil, lays cool. Here we have an upward trend, and in principle, I think it will continue further. The reason is that, in fact, inflation will continue to develop, that is, we will see once again, so to speak, an increase in inflation. And, accordingly, we predict an increase in inflation based on oil prices, because there is a demand for oil, respectively, there will be an increase in inflation. An increase in inflation will cause an increase in interest rates and so on. And we will briefly mention this now. But remember that the growth of oil is usually associated with the fact that inflation will also continue in the near future. Of course, I could have added copper there for consideration, but probably not this time. Natural gas. Natural gas just looks very good. Many will say there how much it has fallen in price. In fact, prices have been greatly reduced, but this, to be honest, is not due to the fact that there has become too much of it, yes, but due to the fact that simply because of stocks and many factors, the price was simply knocked down from below. But in fact, this is an abnormal price, it will naturally shoot up. Again, as on the DIS, you can expect an increase above 3, I think it will go to a new maximum, and the past highs were around $9, that is, there is a threefold increase in the price of natural gas, I think we will see in the near future. Gold. There is ambiguity in gold, that is, from the point of view, yes, if there is inflation, gold will grow, if there is no inflation, gold will fall. This change of priorities seems to have been at the same level for quite a long time since May in the area of 1950. Well, accordingly, I do not see any serious prerequisites for the development of the trend here. That is, the price seems to deviate, but there are some serious changes here. Yes, I don't see the levels themselves, so I sort of allocate this to just one area. So far, so that I don't enter gold, it's maybe just some long-term goals, either buying with a rollback, or selling there. Well, this is purely yours, they say in your opinion. Euro-dollar similarly, I would refrain from it, because here, too, the situation is unclear and I don't even want to delve into it, although it was possible. I'll tell you a little bit about Bitcoin. For Bitcoin, I like what I have. There is quite a decline, gradually the price, in principle, practically does not go beyond the level, so to speak, of resistance, or in this case, the priority level. Therefore, for Bitcoin, I would look at some sales, but again with stop losses, there are no just OLA and huge ones with huge shoulders. Just an opportunity for a short. More predictable assets and, in principle, the most liquid and in demand on the market, but not from the point of view of retail and professional, and nevertheless popular instruments, and these are 10-year Treasury bonds. Yes, who knows that if the interest rate rises, the yield on Treasury bonds increases, and the bonds themselves fall. There is such a simple dependency, which, as they say, must be taken into account. Of course, gold itself and the dollar index are also involved there, as they say, it is necessary to consider bundles. But if we consider the Treasury bonds themselves from the point of view of fundamental analysis, then we get, Jerome Powell said, an increase in interest rates in the future or a possible increase, but not about a reduction or deceleration. Accordingly, this causes a further increase in the yield on Treasury bonds, and of course the bonds themselves are declining. Yes, of course we say it all, it happens at the same time. Plus, the priorities also tell us that, in principle, the decline in Treasury bonds will continue in the future. Therefore, if you are looking for some levels of rebounds and the like, I would consider any upward movements for the opportunity to enter a short position. Buy wheat. Wheat is ambiguous. Yes, summer has begun now. In many countries where wheat is growing, now such a season is still the off-season. Yes, that is, when a new crop has not yet grown somewhere, and it is still growing, respectively, it has not been decided, because the exit from the grain deal in both countries, well, leads to the fact that it does not appear on the market instability, that is, it is applied up and down accordingly. That is, there is no clear established one. That is, in fact, everything that could be earned here could be rubbed very well, because there is too much serious volatility. From the point of view of technical analysis, it is not a bad point to buy, but it contradicts in principle the current situation. This is at all peril and risk. I personally will refrain from making deals at all with Sushinitsa in the near future. Well, then we move on to stocks and TEFs, and whether the S&P index is 500, only which are 10 times smaller, and where, so to speak, are those funds. Here we can consider it as also one of the types of analysis for the S&P 500, and here, in principle, it passes below the level of $441, is, so to speak, the key in order to start opening short positions, but so far there is no here. Meta. Everything is going very nicely on Meta. Metalicity is like a comet, so we are waiting for it to stay in its lowlands after all, because the surveillance has already been a pronounced trend for 8 months. Yes, we have clear trends, and it is possible, if you pay attention, almost under the ruler, respectively, it is easy to notice, and no one will let you earn on this for a long time, and it will be failures. And there are already prerequisites for this. Amazon. Amazon has entered the sidewall and is preparing to break through its level in the area of $125. And of course we are considering a short position on Amazon. The next asset is Microsoft. According to Microsoft, there is just another breakout. In principle, you can already consider it in a short position. APPL. For the APPL, we still have the same situation as Microsoft, but we are also waiting for a breakout in order to open a short position. According to Google, we have ambiguity, it would be better to stay away from deals. Well, finally, the test is, in principle, we have a breakdown. Well, that's all in principle, friends, what I wanted to say. Let's briefly look at the deal. I have only one transaction open now for the SRT function. This is a British index for 13/2 of a lot at a price of 7,700. Well, the current drop is around 30%. That's all, so far, that's all I wanted to say. Stay with me in the Telegram channel. Well, I want to ask you to write in the comments under this video what you liked, what you didn't like, maybe do something more in such short videos, well, as relatively short. I will try to write them down for up to 15 minutes so as not to take up too much of your time and talk more to the point. Bye everyone, Artemis Ski was with you and earn money.